This flashlight is not what it seems at first glance. This is honestly one of the coolest flashlights I've ever had the opportunity to play around with and show off on this channel. Now, last year, Matt Smith made a video where he compared what he called the brightest flashlight from 2008 with the brightest flashlight from 2023, which I do have, by the way, as well. Now, that video did super well. It got over 1 million views, but the comments were full of people expressing disbelief that what appeared to be a standard maglite could in fact have been the brightest light from the year 2008. Well, Matt sent me this light so that I could do a more detailed video on this and show it off, and I'm really excited about this. While it appears to be a standard maglite on the outside, everything inside has been replaced to allow for maximum performance, making this a super cool retro hot rod flashlight. This is a standard stock incandescent maglite, and this is the Mag 623. Aside from the obvious size difference, these do appear to be identical on the outside, but are actually completely different inside. Here is the old standard maglite. You can see that is just a beautiful beam there. Very nice. And here is the Mag 623. While these are both incandescent lights, the Mag 623 has what's called a hot wire bulb. Basically, it's been retrofitted with a much stronger aftermarket bulb. Now let's talk about the bulb, because that's honestly the most interesting part of this here, in my opinion. So this is called the Mag 623, so named after the bulb that is being used, which is an Osram 64-623 series 100 watt incandescent bulb, and is supposed to provide about 5,000 lumens of output. Now, one of the things that's notable about incandescents is they're definitely not as efficient as LEDs, and thus they put out a ton of heat. So on a normal maglite, this is the bulb in a standard maglite, and this is the head. And if you look in here, you can see that we have a plastic reflector and a plastic lens as well, which works totally fine for the standard configuration, but under the power of this Osram, that would melt. So in order to deal with that, the interior of this light has a fully aluminum reflector and a glass lens that'll be able to put up with the heat produced by this bulb. In fact, because this bulb is so powerful, you can't even touch it because the oil from your skin would get on there and it would cause the bulb to burn out. Again, it gets so hot. I mean, I can literally feel it right now. So in order to replace the bulb after you swap it out, you have to wipe it down with rubbing alcohol and then a microfiber cloth to make sure that it is clean. Also, if you're wondering, this 100 watt bulb definitely puts out enough heat to start fires. One of the advantages of incandescent light sources is that they have super high CRI. They're not technically perfect, they tend to be warmer, right? But because it's a black body radiation source, it produces a wide spectrum of colors that illuminates everything with an accurate, realistic coloration, essentially. Which is one reason why people hated LEDs for a long time, was because it took a long time for LEDs to have decent coloration. Incandescents, though, they're beautiful. That being said, that's kind of the only good thing about incandescent bulbs. For one, the beam pattern that they produce is pretty rough, and maglites, in my opinion, have always pretty much had terrible beam patterns. This one is actually the best beam pattern I've ever seen in a maglite. Part of that is due to the reflector and probably the bulb as well. It's still not perfect, but it does look a lot better. There's only like one major artifact. Being a maglite, you can focus this. And there definitely is a sweet spot where I would just leave it there because everywhere else doesn't look as good. And that brings us to the last and I think biggest issue in a flashlight with incandescent bulbs, which is lifespan. They don't last forever. Sometimes they don't last very long at all before they burn out and you have to replace them. This is a high power bulb, but it is being pushed very hard, so that's naturally going to wear on it over time. And that's where we get to the output of this light. So in the original video, Matt claimed that this was, I think, 5,600 lumens. The way that these were tested, essentially back in the day, hobbyists were not using lumen tubes, at least this is what Matt tells me. So basically the output was calculated. And 5,600 lumens is what this was supposed to output. Now here in the back, I've done a video on this. This is the TK lamp flashlight tester. It's a small laboratory calibrated integrating sphere, which is designed to test flashlights and provide accurate lumen numbers. So of course I got this fully charged up, did a test, and what did I get? Not 5,600 lumens, but like 2,400 lumens. So in the package that Matt sent, he actually sent another bulb to go with this. I swapped them out just to see if it would make a difference, and in fact it did. With the new bulb, I got over 4,000 lumens. It definitely could have been 5,600 lumens when the bulb was totally new. I really have no way of knowing that. I don't know how used either of these bulbs technically are. But suffice it to say that usage level does affect output. But with a fresh bulb, it is definitely extremely bright. It's not every day that you get several thousand lumens of super beautiful incandescent light like that, which really makes this thing a joy to use. Inside of here, we have got four 26650 lithium-ion battery cells. We've got a custom spacing solution. So we have two like PVC pieces here. This one's got a little button spacer at the end. And then this spring is nice and long with this solid contact at the end. This is a pretty good example, I think, of a hot rod style flashlight because these are unprotected cells running in series, which means a few things. One, they have to be cell matched. So when you're charging, you know, if you were to use a light like this, they all have to be charged together and used exclusively together. Because having lithium-ion batteries in series, especially unprotected cells, could be a major hazard if, you know, you don't use them properly. And yeah, I mean, you can see this is very much a DIY solution, but they're pretty firm in here. They don't shake around too much, and it works quite well. In order to actually use all of that power properly, you have to have a driver. The driver in here is definitely one of the coolest, most interesting aspects. This is made by AW from Kendall Power Forums. This is the AW driver. Now there's a list of really interesting features about this guy. So according to the maker, and as you'll see a little bit, this driver has a soft start, which is designed to reduce shock to the bulb, prolong bulb life, as well as reduce load on the batteries as they kind of spool up, if you will. So it's got the soft start that slowly turns on. It has 3 PWM controlled brightness levels, so 30%, 60%, and 100%, as well as mode memory. So you turn the light off, turn it back on, and it will remember where it was last set. So that's pretty convenient. The interface of this is also very simple. So while the light is off, just pressing it will turn it on to the last memorized mode, and then each tap will just cycle up, low, medium, high. Pressing and holding will turn the light off. And then while the light is off, if we press and hold, it will activate the flashing mode, which is just another really neat little feature that this guy has got. Now this module slash driver is designed to do bi-pin hot wire bulbs up to 150 watts. This one is just 100 watts, just 100 watts. Supposedly it can also do up to 200 watts intermittently. Now this is a very easy module to install. It works just the same as the stock switch. And the housing is made of aluminum slash brass. So I don't know if it's both or either or depending on which one you purchased, but that allows for better heat dissipation. When you turn it on, it makes this whining sound, which it's just a little thing, but I, for some reason, find that to just be so cool. It makes this feel like a hot rod. I don't know if that makes sense. Again, this driver does control modes via PWM, but because this is an incandescent bulb, you're not going to get that flicker that you might see with other, for example, LEDs, because it's actually a hot filament. So it's not just going to cool off immediately. It's going to provide a nice continuous output. So that's just a neat kind of advantage, I guess, of this technology. There are actually a bunch of different variations of the MAG 623 maglights that used this bulb, and this is honestly one of the simpler maglite modifications out there. Kendall Power Forums is full of old posts about modified maglights with different bulbs, different drivers, smaller form factors, a variety of really interesting power systems. So custom nickel metal hydride and lithium ion battery packs. as well as some really cool, remachined, custom machined heads and body tubes that have different fins and designs and all kinds of stuff. So there was a really vibrant, exciting modding community around these lights. If today you wanted to get into it, I don't know that you can buy a lot of these components. AW is no longer selling these drivers. The bulbs are still readily available online and are actually quite inexpensive. You can find old used maglites, but even this exact Mag 6D is available now from Maglite for only $40. So if you wanted to get one of these to start modding and track down some components like a new reflector, lens, bulb, driver, it could be a really fun little project to do. While this might be a relic of kind of a bygone era, I actually do still see some crazy maglite modifications out there. People still taking advantage of incandescent bulbs, HID bulbs. These things, again, are really well built, so they'll last a long time, and incandescents are super cool. And sometimes it's just fun to make crazy stuff with these lights. If you're interested in more maglite content, Lumencraft manufactures some maglite drop-ins that make modifying these super simple in theory. So if you're interested in a video review on those, let me know in the comments below and I'll see if we can get one of those done. I think that might be really fun. So, yeah. Thanks for watching this video.